Sorry, y'all. I got called again. But yeah, the lines of logic that you have to take, the grand leaps that you have to take to have that be a believable plot point in this story, proves to me that not only is there lazy writing in this movie, there are people who made this movie that actually believe that I could see that and not think immediately that doesn't make any sense, because it doesn't make any sense. And why is that the only dagger? Why aren't there more daggers? Why? Yeah, it just doesn't make, guys. Defend that. If you can defend that, I will be impressed. Defend it. And defend it in a way that does not transcend logic. Defend it in a way that doesn't make it look like you're literally grasping at straws. Give me concrete, justifiable, canon-approved ideas and points to prove that that is a reasonable thing to do. Because up until this point, again, we've never seen something that stupid. That is almost lampoonish how stupid of a plot point that was. And it was so unnecessary. With the technology that was available in the universe, it was unnecessary. The Knights of Ren were useless. They were just useless. They were simply cannon fodder for Ben to kill. That was it. So there's not much else to say for that. Snoke was a clone. Snoke was a clone. This really powerful Force-using Sith Lord was cloned by Palpatine. This is... Why aren't there more of them out there? Why aren't there more of them out there? If he's a clone, why just one? Why not make an army? Why even hide in the first place, Palpatine? If he really was the original evil villain, what's the point in hiding behind Snoke? What's the point of that? And why call him Snoke? That's a stupid name. But why? For what reason? You're the Supreme. You literally just died 30 years ago. You want people to know, yo, not even death can beat me. You're going to wait until the third movie to tell us that? You should have been telling us that from jump. That's really what your goal was. If you were originally supposed to be a part of the trilogy, which you weren't. It's just lazy, y'all. It's lazy. It's lazy. I mean, I can give it a point for the creativity. I'll give it that. I can't call it creative. I can't even call it creative. It's just bad storytelling. It's bad storytelling. It's like a child wrote it. Oh, he was just a clone. It sounds so. It was just dumb. That's all I'm gonna say. This movie did everything it could to take away from the original trilogy, simply for the fact that Palpatine was still alive. It trivializes the entire original trilogy, because the whole point of the original trilogy was to take down the Empire, which was spearheaded by Emperor Palpatine. Without their spearhead, without their figurehead, without their Messiah-like figure, it falls apart. They fall apart because they have no leadership. So when Han, Luke, and Leia, and Chewie all took out the Emperor, only to have him come back 30 years later, what was the point of that whole adventure? What was the point of going through that entire experience? What, for the experience? That's stupid. This isn't Hunter x Hunter. We don't go off on random side quests because it's fun. They were taking down an empire that had the galaxy in an iron grip. They weren't doing it for the fun. They were doing it to liberate, to save, to free an otherwise oppressed people. They weren't doing it because it was a fun little adventure that we could have and we had laughs along the way. I mean, there was fun in it. Yeah, sure, there was brevity in it, sure. But the point wasn't for fun. And I'm not saying that's what they're trying to say, but still, it's like, how are you going to bring back a character that entire droves of people worked so hard to kill? It almost immediately it spits in the face of the original trilogy. The killing off of original characters, the character assassination of certain characters, the mishandling of these otherwise characters that we've grown to love and appreciate, all for the sake of being a springboard for these new characters to pop up, half of which aren't even real people. Rey isn't even a real person. Ben's trajectory as a character does not make sense. Finn is the token black guy that nobody cares about. And it's unfortunate because the seventh movie had me believing that he was going to be important to the entire movie. that he potentially could have been a Jedi. A Force-sensitive ex-stormtrooper who became a leader of the rebellion and a Jedi on top of that. And I know you guys have been hearing about the whole diversity issue with the Jedi, how it's mostly just the white man show out there. You had a chance to do it, and you reneged on it. And then they allude to it in the third movie that he's Force-sensitive. Rian Johnson, I hate this movie made me hate Rian even more. Rian Johnson, even more. Which isn't fair to him because I liked some of his movies, but the way he handled this one, trash. That's why I said it's impossible for me not to talk about The Last Jedi, because The Last Jedi is half the reason why I have to talk about half this crap. If The Last Jedi didn't exist the way that it did, we might not even had so many clear and apparent plot holes, chasms that we have now. It still wouldn't have made the movie good, but at least I don't have to spend an extra 25 minutes trying to tell you guys how little sense that actually makes. And some of you stands out there that are trying to defend this movie that says that plot point is not ridiculous, you have to, again, like I said before, give me reasonable doubt that this wasn't an absolutely unnecessary and lazily constructed plot line. You have to give that to me. And you have to give it to me more than just saying, well, you can't take it so seriously. You can't do this, can't do that. Look, I go to movies for fun. I go to movies to enjoy them. But I don't go to movies to have my intelligence be insulted. I don't go to movies to have them tell me random stuff and have me believe it to be true. I don't go to movies with lore that has established a fan base that has transcended decades now to only have all of that established canon and lore be thrown in my face and tell me to just believe it because it's just a movie. It's more than just a movie. Every single one of you guys who went out of your way to watch these Star Wars trilogies acknowledge that it was more than just a movie. Because otherwise you'd have no reason to watch it. You're a grown adult. What reason do you have to go back to watch these movies that apparently are intended for children? Because you had an emotional attachment to them. The original trilogy was so impactful for you that you have... It's a lot like Star Trek. It's a similar thing. You created a world that fascinated you and you fantasized being a part of. And this trilogy was supposed to continue that theory, to continue that feeling, that good, not even nostalgic, just that good feeling of we're exploring a universe that has all this awesome stuff in it. And you're taking that and you're destroying it in front of my face and telling me, it's just a movie. Just because it's a movie doesn't mean that it can't be bad. It also doesn't mean that there can't be stuff wrong with it. And it also doesn't mean that just because it's meant for entertainment, that I can't critique it. Dare I say, that's the reason why I'm critiquing it. Because movies are an art form, more or less. They're a form of expression. And if your expression is lazy, poorly constructed, and doesn't do anything to add to the construct of society, there's no reason for me not to criticize it. Construct of society is a grandiose term. More so what I'm saying is, if it doesn't do anything productive in the form of artistic expression, which is a fundamental part of our culture, I got every right to criticize it. Even if it was good, I still have a right to criticize it. That's beside the point. Sidebar. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got. Stormtrooper girl has to be Lando's daughter. That's stupid. We didn't need that. For what? For what? Why? And on top of that, if she was Lando's daughter, why hasn't Lando been on a crusade to find her? Because these people, as far as we understand, were abducted. They were turned into stormtroopers. They weren't cloned. They were abducted, reprogrammed, and manufactured for war. So why is Lando not going on a holy crusade, burning down every empire stronghold he can find to try and find his daughter? Why isn't he doing that? Why hasn't he done that? If that's what we're alluding to. If she's not Lando's daughter, thank goodness. Because that would have, on top of the many insults that this movie has thrown my way, that would have just been the ice cream on the cake at that point. But yeah, that's all I got, y'all. Sorry this is so long, but it was just, it's embarrassing how poorly this IP was handled by Disney. Despite all of the money and resources they had, despite all of the access they had to competent writers, directors, storytellers, people that have nothing but passion for this thing, that would have loved to have the chance to contribute to the thing that they looked up to so much when they were young. I would kill to have the opportunity to write a Star Wars movie. I would have loved that. If you hit me up tomorrow and say, hey, yo, I need you to, oh, but I'm on that all day and I'm getting paid for it. Like, no, Disney had way too much in front of them and they underused everything. Why did you allow so much fragmentation and discontinuity in an IP that you yourself said you valued tremendously? You reneged on dang near every promise you gave. These characters are going to be treated with respect. Akbar gets blown off screen and we never see him again. Han gets killed in front of our face for no reason. Luke gets turned into a shell of his former self and turns into a guy who drinks blue, sickening goat milk from a walrus-looking creature. You care about your characters, but you're doing this to them. It didn't even have to go this way. And the part that makes me so frustrated, and the part that makes me so irritated, and I talked about it in the last video, there is so much that they could have did with these movies. This movie could have been this generation's original trilogy. It could have been that. It could have been that, but it was too scared to do something. It was too scared to add to the story. So it just resorted to copying the old one. And again, you're going to say, well, Damien, you like The Force Awakens, and it pretty much was A New Hope. No, it wasn't. It took a lot of similar story beats for sure. But again, it was the original in a trilogy. They had every chance they could with the next two movies to go in a different direction, and they didn't do it. Rian Johnson did, but he did it for the sake of going in a different direction, not for any type of intention of continuity or any type of intention of telling a consistent and cohesive storyline. He did it simply for the sake of doing it. It seemed like he did everything he could to take everything that, and like, as a director and a person who writes movies and likes doing that stuff, it's disrespectful. I don't care I don't care what vision you have. You better not mess up. We're planning a trilogy here, bro. What are you doing? That's like having a partner on the project who's doing everything he can to make sure that everything that you guys are trying to work on goes completely in the wrong direction. And again, if I'm Disney, how do I not have these guys sit down and figure this out beforehand? How am I not taking the utmost care and intentionality with this clearly established intellectual property that has a lot of financial impact and cultural impact? How am I not taking more care with this? How am I not making sure that every person that's involved in this project knows what we're trying to do and where we're trying to go with it? And if someone's not trying to get with the program, hey, you got to dip. This is more than you. This is Star Wars, baby. We got to make sure we do this right, because people are gonna look for this. I guarantee you, y'all, for as much as people say that they love these movies and as much as they say that they like them, they're not going to talk about them in 2 years. They're not going to care about them anymore. It's going to be a distant memory. It's going to be something that you're going to look back on and say, it was cool, but it wasn't. People today are still watching the original trilogy. You guys realize that, right? That movie came out in 1977 or 1979. I can't remember. It came out in the 70s is the point that I'm making. 40 years old, that movie is. And people are still watching it. People are still quoting it. People are still like, not glorifying. Well, they are glorifying and borderline idolizing characters that were a part of those movies 40 years ago. I am a Star Wars fan. I wasn't even born when the movies came out. They came out 20 years after me, and I love those movies. That's how crazy it is to me that they disrespected this series so brazenly. And it's just, yeah, there's so many more issues I have, y'all, but this turned into more of a rant than anything else, but it was a bad movie. It was a bad movie, and these are the reasons why it was a bad movie. If you disagree, you can disagree. Please do. But there are certain things here that I don't even think you guys can disagree with. And again, they had a chance to make something awesome here, something to be memorable, something to have impact that could last years, decades even. And they ruined it. They ruined it. They turned it like it. I have no desire to go back to this movie. I have no desire to go back to The Last Jedi. I loved The Force Awakens, but now because of what I've seen with these last two movies, I have no reason to go back. I don't care anymore. I have no reason to go back to The Force Awakens. Why? So I can think about, because I know how the story ends. It's like the same thing with Game of Thrones. I have no desire. I mean, eventually I will, because at this point, I just want to see how it ends. But I have no real desire to, because I heard that the ending was trash. I mean, to be fair, I have to see it for myself to know for sure. But I heard that the ending is terrible. Knowing how the story ends often makes it hard for me to enjoy how it began. To be honest with you, that's why I can't go back to Hunter x Hunter. I loved the anime, but like when my boy Togashi taking his sweet old time to come out with these chapters, I just stopped caring. Same thing with Kingdom Hearts. I just don't care anymore. It's too late. You had too long to give me something new, and when you gave me something new, you threw your shit. It was terrible. You had all this time. The Disney had all this time to get their stuff together and their ducks in a row, and they just threw it apart. Which makes me believe they were really just in it for the money, but that's beside the point. And then my boy Lucas coming out saying he felt betrayed. But to be fair, I really don't have much respect for Lucas nowadays. Not only because of how he treated the prequels, but also because he was so. I mean, he signed away his property for the check. I can't have empathy for somebody like that when you're so willing to throw away. I shouldn't say throw it away, but when you're so willing to do what you can to get that pay. I mean, he got that money though. I'm not gonna lie, he got that money, but my man, I don't know. Whatever artistic vision, passion he may have had with the original trilogy, I haven't seen that in years. It's been gone. I just don't have sympathy for George, because at the end of the day, he did it for a check. And he got a good one. He got a real good one. I'm not gonna lie. He got a lot of money out of that deal, but he can't then go back and say, "Oh, I feel betrayed." No, you betrayed us on this. I want to go back. I want to go in so bad, but like, George betrayed us. He betrayed me with those prequels. But let me digress. I'm digressing. So yeah, what'd you guys think about it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Were you kind of meh on it? Did you even care? Tell me why. Tell me what your thoughts are. I'm interested to hear what those are. All right, y'all. That's all I got for today. You guys take care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys later. All right, bye.